What's going on, everybody out there? It is another episode of the Jamal and Joe show. Obviously, I'm Jamal. Obviously, that's Joe. And we're here tonight to do the thing that we do once a week, once again.
I wasn't joking. There's my 360 box. I realized that I was like, what is wrong with the view? It's because I don't have my 360 box to properly. There we go.
Yeah. That's right. You said it. Hey, as we get started, what's that thing in the background there? What is that?
Oh, that's that sweet award I got sent underneath my son's sweet award.
Oh, you want to share that with the viewers?
Bang! That's hitting triple-digit subscribers right there, and so is that one. Which our real hardcore viewers will already have recognized this one in an explanation. Post your mega mic drop sign off that is really hard to follow, but I do because I don't know what else to do. So I try to point out things of life and whatnot. And so I pointed out that one there that the kiddo made, but then this one here, a little more professional looking, but both to celebrate our triple digits of subscribership. And we sure welcome all of you and thank you for doing that.
Absolutely, yeah.
That anybody else digs this at all and has a good time, because we sure do too. So
yeah, and if you're watching this, feel free to share it with a friend, like the episode, like our clips, and we're gonna be here.
Triple digits.
Oh,
what's next? What's next is 4 digits after that.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm not sure what I do to celebrate.
Hold on a second. Can I just take a second and say?
I'm trying to block that from my view. It's just the visual of that almost ruins the taste of this, and that's hard to do.
Can I just say for a second? Let me look into the camera and say, I love Pabst Blue Ribbon.
That's fine.
So
that's fine.
Is it Anheuser-Busch or who owns Pabst Blue Ribbon now? Whoever owns Pabst Blue Ribbon, I love you. I'm about to drink this.
Go ahead and crack that and open it and have yourself a big swig. Let's see what satisfaction looks like. Because yeah. Let's make sure you don't switch the old cup there. And why do you pour it out of the can? It can't be because the can tastes. Is it the plastic tastes better than aluminum?
The can gets cold, and I kind of like the cup.
You do not like cold beer?
I love cold beer, but I prefer it out of a cup instead of a can.
I got you. I got you. Okay.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm sorry. It's like a natural reaction. It's like I'm trying to think of. I gotta watch that down.
So if you are the owner of Pabst Blue Ribbon, if you're a shareholder in that company, and you're looking for a podcast to sponsor,
I'm sure that's
I'm not normally a sellout. However, if you want me to drink this on the air, I will drink it on the air. But you got to send me a case. But anyways.
By the way, you could send me all that shit you want.
I'll drink it. Cheers.
It ain't worth shipping all the way to you, but cheers.
Cheers to 100 subscribers.
Here's to you.
Yes. So good.
We talked about beverages and why mine's better than yours. What else is shaking in your world? That's like, is it warm foam or is it at least a cold beer?
No, it's been in the fridge all day.
Because I didn't see any like chilling. Like, see on this, you'll note, like it looks cold, right? It's sweating. Where is that on your can?
The can was in the fridge all day, so.
I know, so it should be sweaty now that it's out of it.
No, it's not sweaty. It's cold though. It's nice and cold. It's making my hand cold, so that's why I put it in my cup. There's not too many things better than.
How about this? A little shout out to, if there's a brewery in North Carolina that would like to try to say why their beer is better And again, you don't got to convince me I'm not a beer guy anymore. It's that guy. Feel free to chime in. You don't have to, I mean, honestly, hawk for ad space. You can just say, why, that's garbage. And I'll agree pretty much for any reason.
How many other beers have won a blue ribbon?
That's like the Fox News of blue ribbons.
Oh, ouch. Wow, why do you got to go there?
When you give yourself a blue ribbon, I mean, is that what they did?
Is it like giving yourself a nickname?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, but if nobody else knows, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Giving yourself your own nickname. But how does anybody else know?
People know. Your boys know.
It's true. But say you move to a new town.
That's true. Because I remember.
And you're like, hi, I'm Eagle Eye.
Well, I'll give you an example. So growing up, my dad had a friend and his nickname was Tennessee. And everybody called him Tennessee. Now, I'm sure back home in Tennessee, people did not call him Tennessee.
You don't think so?
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say some random dude didn't have the nickname Tennessee.
Because it was very unique.
Yeah, but everybody in Portland called him Tennessee because he was from Nashville or Knoxville or somethingville. Okay. And they called him Tennessee. And I'm positive he gave himself that nickname.
Okay. I'm not sure that I morally object to giving yourself a nickname because, maybe you hate your own name or whatever.
But a nickname is something you kind of have to earn.
I hear you. But I don't know that it's quite so far as like, I don't know that it's necessarily insincere. It's more sincere and it's more authentic. Yes, if like all of your friends come up with one and then suddenly that's just what people call you. I get that.
I mean, so there are some.
So what's the difference then between coming up with a nickname and let's say a guy whose name is Rupert, but he goes by Smitty?
So I'm guessing there's a story behind that. Like, I know a guy named, his last name is Cooper, and everybody calls him Coop. Like, that's like...
That one makes a little bit of sense.
I mean, that's one you can give yourself. But, like, if all of a sudden you want people to start calling you Ace, and it's like, Ace?
And that one I get, because, again, that implies, like, you're kind of special. I'm just talking about, like where did, almost change, like, because that was my uncle. I only knew him as Uncle Smitty.
Right.
I didn't learn until I was almost an adult that his actual name was Rupert.
Oh, I remember.
And people were like, don't you dare call him Rupert. Because, this is like when he was like old. He was old and cranky as F.
Right.
To begin with. And then, that didn't like improve with any age.
I had a situation like that. My dad's closest brother in age, I always knew him as Uncle Mook. M-O-O-K, Uncle Mook.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably in my 20s when I learned his name was Ollie. O-L-L-I-E. And apparently, he had been called Mook since he was like 2 years old, and nobody remembered how the heck he got the name Mook, but it was Uncle Mook.
Right.
I had lots of uncles, because, my dad had 14 brothers and sisters. Right. I had lots of uncles, and I never knew their first name until some of them were passed away, and I found at the funeral what their name was. Right. It was always this or that, and like, okay, that's just, you didn't question it. That's just how it was. But if all of a sudden you came on the podcast next week and started calling yourself Slick, like, okay,
demanding it,
you know what I mean? But like,
would you roll with it, or would you be like, man, this is beyond awkward, and I can't do it?
It would make for good digital content, so I would roll with it.
I know you would. You're like the rare exception, right? Like, because like if you came in and said, "By the way, I'm Slick and that's Joe," like, who?
Yeah.
So you know, and I don't know, I mean, you played a lot more of the organized sports later into life, and so I assume that a lot of nicknames kind of come from things like that.
Yeah, like
Organized events like that, whether it's sports or sports.
yeah. In high school, my nickname was Big Jam,
Oh, there you go.
and that kind of made sense.
Like I remember like the girls volleyball, like they all like had nicknames on the back of their shirts that they would like wear around. It was like an enthusiasm thing for their team, and they all had nicknames of randomness on the back of their shirts.
Right.
So awesome, and so I get it, whatever you're into. But when it seems a little more forced like that, then versus your buddies all coming up with it. Now, did your buddies come up with Big Jam, or was that you going, you know what, I like Big Jam, I'm putting that out there?
No, that was one of my coaches like freshman year.
See, then that's more organic, and it feels like it's kind of like an actual nickname that's fun, and if people run with it, that's fun.
Yeah, it was one of my freshman coaches, Coach Slack. For those of you who went to high school with me, you remember Coach Slack, and he always wore the shorts, and he had one testicle that was always hanging out. Anyways, that's a different story. But he would always he started calling me Big Jamal because I was kind of a bigger, lankier kid back in the day, and that over time that got shortened to Big Jam, so that became my nickname, Big Jam. All right.
Backing up a moment.
You want to go back to the testicle thing, don't you?
Not that I really want to, but you kind of left it hanging out there.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Did anybody like say, "Hey, coach"? Or I know this is kind of pre, being appropriate in the workplace.
I think senior year at graduation, somebody said something to him like, "Hey, do you remember back freshman, sophomore year, you'd be sitting there?" And I mean, I remember, I can relate to that. You sit down, you got on a pair of sweat shorts or something, and you're like, "Whoa." Yeah, I think so. I think somebody said something. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
so okay. Well, I guess that's kind of the question. Was it a situation like that, or was it like seemingly intentional? The guy walks around with his junk out.
No, it was always when he was sitting down, like because he was a bigger dude, right? He was a large individual, and back in the late 80s and early 90s,
talking like kind of high gym short kind of stuff.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, so like if coach was sitting down, cross his legs, there's some balls.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like a pervert thing. It was coach sat down
like how does the whole team not just like die? I mean,
the whole team was dying. I mean, that was somebody wrote a song about it. Yeah, somebody wrote a song about like a parody song about it, and it was like, wow. Yeah, that's how I got the nickname Big Jam, and it just kind of stuck, and then.
Well, maybe I saved a guy from earning a nickname back in middle school. When looking back, I realized dude must have like been just drunk or smoking a big fat spliff. I mean, this is a fellow student, mind you, in 7th grade. I'm pretty sure he was both. I mean, his eyes were just on fire, and he was just a mess. But anyway, we were getting ready to go out for gym, and I was always one of the last people to go out. I was just tardy, and since we're dropping hot names of coaches of gym teachers, Coach Crutchfield, who noticeably always had a jar of Vaseline nearby in his office. Oh, God. And his office had the windows, had the view of the showers. That was good. I chose not to shower. Nobody else showered either. Maybe after, even after football, nobody showered. So one day, me and this kid Richard were like the last ones getting ready. And Richard is the kid that's all fucked up. Like just again, and I was like a 7th grader, naive as shit. I didn't know anything. I just knew Richard was kind of a buddy. He's kind of a dirtbag, but whatever. He was nice to me, so it was cool. And we were the last ones getting out to gym, and got my official T-shirt on for gym, my official shorts. I'm ready to rock. I'm heading out, and Richard's like, "Okay, let's go." And I'm like, I thought he was joking because again, he's kind of a dirtbag, funny guy.
Right.
And he starts to walk out, and I'm like, "Richard," and he didn't have any shorts on. And I was like, and he just looked at me. He's like, "What?" And I'm like, I just, kind of did this.
Yeah.
I'm like, "You don't have your pants." And he's just like, he just, had his briefs on, but he had his sneakers on. I think he'd just taken it off over his shoes or whatever for class.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. And he was like, "Oh, thank you. But man, if you ever tell any, but don't tell anybody." He's, kind of embarrassed, obviously, but he was, but we were cool. So it was all good. But I can only imagine what nickname he might have earned for himself.
Oh, yeah.
Had I not intervened like such a good Samaritan, I said, "Richard, you don't have any pants on."
So in high school was you remember pantsing people?
I do remember the phenomenon, yes.
Was that like a big deal in your high school?
It was not, well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you think of as big deal. In high school, not so much. Maybe like in junior high, I guess.
No, see, maybe it was like a
rowdy bunch.
Maybe it was like an athlete thing. So I remember
yeah, I get that.
Football camp, like junior year. I don't know why this sticks out to me. This is probably why. Remember when I told you a couple episodes ago, I don't own a pair of sweatpants. Like gray sweatpants are like the big thing. I don't own a pair of gray sweatpants. I just don't. Not even the dad cargo shorts. I just don't own sweatpants.
Why?
So I remember junior year, and so the school I went to, Central, built like a brand new gym.
By the way, is this a story of why you don't like gray sweatpants?
It could be. I've never really made this correlation until right now. But
okay, good. Yeah, okay, cool.
Correlation right now. So it was right before, so it was after sophomore year, before junior year. So back in the day, we had daily doubles for football camp, like in August before school started. And so all of the fall sports, volleyball, soccer, everybody was using the fields, and we were having our practices before school started because, we were there like 3 weeks before school started. And I remember the volleyball team was in there practicing. So all the guys were standing outside the gym, looking in the window at the volleyball team. It was just kind of the thing to do. So then when the volleyball team went out to, was it the volleyball team thing? I think it was the volleyball team. So when they went out to go walk to their locker room, all the guys were all lined up in the hallway, and I'm walking down the hallway, and I hear footsteps coming up on either side of me. One guy grabs the left side of my sweat. The other guy grabs the right side of my sweats and just whoosh all the way down to my ankles. Now, I don't know if they did it on purpose or by accident, but they not only grabbed the sweats, but they grabbed the shorts and they grabbed the underwear all the way down to the ankles, everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And so then of course I fall to the ground and I'm trying to pull it up, and then I'm looking to see who to go to chase and beat up, and then everybody starts running. To this day, nobody has ever fessed up who did it. I still don't know which one of my friends it was.
Sorry to hear that. So, and also curious because, personally, usually for me, gray sweatpants, that's like a single layer affair. It's just gray sweatpants. That's all that's between me and the world.
Right.
One pair of gray sweatpants. Whereas you're saying there's shorts and then.
Yeah, because we were
under there. So you have several layers going on.
We were doing our inside football practice because you could only do one outside practice. You had to do one inside. So we were in the gym and we had our shorts on and we were doing our footwork drills. But we were supposed to have on our sweats and then our hoodies.
Get extra hot?
Well, no. This is whenever we were traveling or doing anything, we always had to have on a certain uniform. So
I got you.
It was the sweats had our number on the side, and our hoodies had our number on the front and our name on the back, and it matched. So when practice was over, I didn't feel like going and taking off my shorts and putting on my sweats. I just put them on over my shorts as I was, walking in to get in line. So yeah, that was that. But That could be why I don't have any sweatpants, but I don't know if that's the correlation or not. But yeah, I don't own a pair of gray sweatpants.
Well, all right. I do. They're nice. They're sweatpants. I don't know that I ever got pantsed in high school or in ever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and after that, I went on a pantsing frenzy. I was pantsing everybody.
And you were just getting everybody. Like,
just trying to get everybody. Yeah.
Right. Well, which these days would be classified as probably a sex crime or something.
Exactly.
So, I mean, those things still got to happen. I mean, are kids like way more elaborate with things now because of phones? I mean, before the Rona, whatever. Were they all just filming each other, pranking the crap out of each other?
Oh yeah. So
putting it up on YouTube and shaming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. YouTube, TikTok.
It's gotta be terrible.
Yeah. The pranks are quite elaborate these
days. Yeah. Okay. Well, and I'm sure that folks vary on this, but a flip phone for a kid to call me until they're like, honestly, 18, 19, 20 is kind of the lane that I'm traveling in.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's really not. It's not an issue because they're not that old anyway. That was
Yeah, I don't know what we got going on back here.
Was that like a Carolina mountain?
No, it's kids that are up later. Hey, filibuster for me for a second. I'll be right back.
Nice filibuster. Okay. What's up? I'm gonna try. What's the deal? With here's a good one. Drinking alone. Let's do it. Cheers, internet. What are your thoughts on drinking alone? I kind of like it. Also, don't chew ice. That's my dental tip. It will crack your teeth. Did you know that? The enamel of your teeth will get little cracks if you chew on ice. Do not do it. Tip for the day. Back to drinking alone. We were just talking about drinking alone.
And chewing ice. I heard you. Don't chew ice.
Don't chew ice. Oh, I see people doing it, and I want to nag on them.
My wife chews ice. She only likes the Chick-fil-A ice, the little like hospital ice.
Oh, is that like a little crumbly?
Yeah.
That may not quite have the same effect. I still wouldn't do it because out of an abundance of caution. Dude, we all know you have bad taste, but they ain't paying. Hey, it's fine. You can just insist about that you like bad beer.
No, Pabst Blue Ribbon. I'm confident. I'm more confident than a QAnon supporter right now. I'm confident that Pabst Blue Ribbon is going to send me a 6-pack of beer.
Well, some of us would find that insulting. But for you, that's great. And I hope they do. I hope they follow up on it. Good job. Was it Anheuser-Busch? I mean,
yeah, I think it's Anheuser-Busch.
I'm pretty sure is Ambev, which is owned by a Mexican fellow, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought that was German.
No, check it.
No. Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. U.S. freaking A right here.
I get that, but I mean, I would be amazed if they're not owned by somebody else.
Let's go to the old Google machine.
Oh, we're gonna really?
Yes, we are.
When are we gonna spend some time on talking about good booze? Because we should. But fine, we'll just talk about this more because I'm sure some of our viewers also like bad beer and want to know more.
Pabst is not bad beer. Okay, so let's see who owns Pabst. Let's just see.
It's not good beer, and so it's not. It's good. It is
owned. It is owned by.
Is it its own thing?
It's its own thing.
You know what that tells me? And you know what it tells you too? You just don't want to admit it.
Nobody
wants to buy that shit. Come on.
No, it just means that they refuse to sell out. They want to remain independent.
That's ridiculous. I mean, obviously, it's not a commitment to quality. So, why on? It's because they have no offers.
They also make Rainier beer.
That's not helping their cause.
Oh, dude, come on.
And honestly, why would you not drink that as a local enthusiast?
I can't get Rainier back here.
And Pabst actually owns Rainier now?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Well,
yeah.
Again, I personally, I think you should support local business. Come on, viewers. You've got to agree with me here. Support your local businesses. Find a local producer of pissy shit beer and support them instead. Give them props and airtime. Nag on them to send you a 6-pack. And support your local brewer.
You know what is also a Pabst? You know what is also a Pabst brand? I bet you didn't know this.
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Not Lone Star Beer,
I don't know.
Rainier, and Jack Daniels is a Pabst brand.
Jack Daniels by default sucks because it's made in a dry county. I mean, that's just, come on. What the shit?
All right, put it to you this way.
So they own you know what that's like? That's like saying, wow, we're the company that owns Taco Bell and Pizza Hut.
So you're Pepsi.
Go to a taqueria if you want tacos. Go to a pizza joint if you want pizza. There's gazillions of both that are infinitely better than either of those.
If there is any brewery in Charlotte who is watching this video,
they don't want to sell you free shit. I want you to go find it. You go find it.
No. If they want me to do a blind taste test, I will sit down and do a blind
test. That is your job as consumer, as a beer enthusiast, is to go out and you report back. I want to see you go, you know what? I'm so excited about supporting my local business. I mean, dude, if they made tequila here locally, I would buy it. But
I'm not even a big beer guy.
Enough to be drinking it right now. That's beer enough.
So
I'm a big tequila guy, other than buying several bottles at once. But that's because I don't.
We talked about Pabst last week, and I went on and bought a can of Pabst.
And that's fine. So if that's just to show everybody that you can stomach it and chug it down while we watch and go, look at that guy drink mediocre beer. And because you know what else that's saying? You had to go out and buy it. You didn't actually have a Pabst in the house. I don't
have any beer in the house.
So you don't really like it that much. So I mean,
if I'm going to drink beer and I can find a Pabst Blue Ribbon, I will drink a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
If you can find a Pabst.
It's hard to find it in Charlotte. You have to go to certain parts of town.
Charlotte's that selective? Or are there people with actual taste in Charlotte that like good stuff?
Oh, there's a lot of local breweries, and I don't really like the local brewery stuff. I just don't.
You don't know. I have a feeling you haven't even tried.
I have.
Because again, you're not a beer person, as you say, but yet enough to buy a beer and maybe have swapped it out with a different cup right now, so you're just drinking like some juice. It's fine. That could be urine.
Okay, if I'm drinking urine, I got bigger problems.
Do you?
Yes. Yes. Here's the deal. I'm not the biggest drinker to begin with. I'll have a drink. If I was walking into a bar and I could have anything I wanted, I would have a Tito's and cranberry juice with a splash of Sprite.
Tito's is gin?
Tito's is vodka.
Vodka. Okay.
So like right now, if I walk into a bar,
cranberry person.
Yeah, vodka cranberry with a little bit of Sprite.
With a Sprite. What do you call that? Because you're a mixologist.
There's really not a name for it. I mean,
you're supposed to come up.
Yeah, I know. There is a name for it. I can't remember what they call vodka cranberry. There is a name for it. But I don't really like orange juice because it messes with my tummy. The acid. Cranberry juice is nice and light, and it's also fairly decent for your body. And I like the taste of Tito's. Tito's is good.
Is Tito's a good vodka?
Yeah, it is. So Tito's is a craft vodka. It's made in San Antonio, Texas. And
okay.
You know, the story behind Tito's was Tito, that's the guy's name, started off as a brewmaster making beer and decided, I don't want to make beer like everybody else in Austin because Austin's like Portland and there's a brewery on every corner. So he decided to make vodka instead.
Is there a lot? There's got to be people like, you can't make tequila anywhere but in tequila land. Like, I don't think you can do it in Texas.
Yeah, I think Texas probably. I think the supply chain to get the stuff to make tequila is a lot easier to get in Austin, Texas, than it is anywhere else.
I don't know that you're able to. The agaves and the whatnot.
We'll have to do some research on how he.
I really want to do research on that because maybe Austin is worthwhile after all. You know, but no, I've heard it's great. So Tito's, what is Tito's? A potato, a grain, what is it made from? Rice, corn?
Do you want to know? I will tell you.
That's why I asked.
All right.
You don't know offhand, do you?
No, I don't. It's good. I don't know.
Like there's a vodka here that is made from potatoes. That's made locally here in Portland, and it is made from potatoes. In case you're like, you know, super gluten intolerant.
It's corn based. It's corn based.
All right. But this stuff actually tastes. I mean, you can taste the potato, which to me is gross unless you're making like a Bloody Mary. Then it's kind of bomb.
Right.
But I don't necessarily want my cocktail to have a
potato taste.
New, personally.
Yeah. So it's corn vodka.
All right. Well, Tito's it is then.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good. It's a little spendy, you know, but you know it is what it is.
So you can tell the difference.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference. So I mean, you know, it's better than Smirnoff. Remember that Russian vodka we used to drink back in the day that came in that square bottle? Remember that stuff? It had like the Russian letters on it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's better than that.
When you worked at the bar. You know, I mean, and people would buy the top shelf, whatever it was. You know, I mean, how much? Because I haven't really ever splurged. Like, I finally had Patron, right? Because I'm such a tequila nut, and everybody would ask me, "Oh, have you had Patron?" No, I never had it. You know,
keep talking.
And is it that good? And I tell you, I finally bought like the little teeny bottle because I'm too cheap to buy the big bottle. It's the little airplane bottle, and
keep talking.
It's not. I'm just saying the Patron is pretty good.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Patron. I think I have a bottle of Patron. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Do you really? Oh my God! You just have one sitting around. No, we're not doing anything with it.
Oh, see, I like this. But I'm a frou-frou drinky guy, though.
Is that like the Midori sour?
That's exactly what that is.
I don't know exactly what that is exactly, but
it tastes like melon.
Okay.
And then hold on. I know this is great for streaming video.
No, I love it. I mean, show us your liquor cabinet. That's fun.
See, I don't really have a liquor cabinet. I don't really keep a lot of liquor in the house. And I'm having issues. Oh, and I got these from Mexico. Woo-hoo.
Are those Cubanos?
Are Cubans legal?
Do you always answer a question with a question?
Well, that depends on if I'm going to tell you if they're Cubans or not. Are Cubans legal right now?
I don't know. I haven't checked because I don't smoke.
They may or may not be Cubans then.
All right.
They may or may not say Cuba on the box. I don't know. I can't read.
Well, it says like Cuba however many miles. So that could be they're Cuba adjacent.
Yeah. Let's just go with I bought them from a guy who told me that they were legal. Let's just go with that.
You know, that gets you pretty far in life.
Because hold on, I'm bound and determined to find what I'm looking for now. Hold on. All right. Well, cat. All right. I just stepped on my cat. I have a bottle of unopened Patron Silver in there somewhere.
Oh, that's the one to have.
I brought that back from Mexico when I was there in February.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Was it just like why? Because you just wanted to have a bottle, or because it was like crazy cheap to buy it there and bring it back over?
I had some duty-free money that I needed to spend, and I was at the airport, and I was about to get on the plane.
Gotcha.
I didn't spend it; it was going to go to waste. And so I was like, "Shoot!" I was talking to the wife. She's like, "Go buy a bottle of liquor." I'm like, "All right." So I go over there, and I'm like, I had this little coupon thing, and the guy was like, "Oh, Patron, duh." And I'm like, "Okay, give me that bottle of Patron." But that shows you how much of a drinker I was. This was February of 2020, and it's still in the cabinet unopened.
Aging. No, well, that's great because it is the shit. I don't. But the thing is that I don't know that it's that significantly better to justify that cost difference because I have, the one I enjoy. It's like $30 or under.
Right.
Patron for the same size bottle is like 100 and something.
Yeah. But Patron's good though. I do like
good.
Patron.
It's just it ain't that good.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this.
Justify that difference.
So
it is good though. It's delicious.
And I don't know if this is wood. Probably Formica. Sheetrock. Okay. Knock on something that is wood. Okay. If everything goes well, I will be in Cabo San Lucas in May.
Wow.
Good Lord willing. Right? Hopefully by May I'll be able to get the shot and the second shot, and the wife will be able to get the shot and the second shot. So if all goes well, I will be in Mexico in May. And if I can find a way to ship it to you, I will ship you a bottle of Patron Silver or maybe Cabo Wabo.
That's it. Or honestly, I mean, there's only like 900 different like distilleries down there.
I'll find something. I'll find something local that's supposed to be like blow your doors off, and I'll send it to you.
No, that's great. I can't wait. There's a fellow I work with who is from, I believe, Taliesko, which is like the region where they grow all of. It's funny because like the same plant grown anywhere else is called mezcal. But apparently it's somehow different there, and then it's tequila. And I've had mezcal, and I don't like it.
Right. Yeah.
No. So whatever it is, and apparently the higher the elevation where the plant grows, the better it is because it's colder, so it takes longer to grow. But because of the old climate change and the global warmings and all that, there's not as many of those available anymore because it doesn't get as cold as often.
Gotcha.
So, all these things of the tequila industry.
Well, I will find you the best bottle of tequila I can find in Cabo San Lucas.
I would even take I would almost be more curious about how about this, one of each, because I bet it's like $5. But
how about I send you a sampler? I'll find some kind of 4 or 5 bottles.
I would almost want to see like the worst, what they consider the worst there.
Yeah.
Would I just be like, oh my God, this is so good.
Yeah. How about we do this? I will actually, Cabo is in your time zone, so we'll be in the same time zone. Why don't we do a little midweek show? And I'll hope, like I said, knock on wood, Rona, all that stuff. Hopefully, shots, vaccines, all that. We'll see. There's a long time between now and May. Mm-hmm. But if everything works out, we can go live. And I will call you from a tequilery. I don't know if that's a word.
Or just, beachside, and be like, hey.
Well, no, so
with some shrimp.
The place that we're supposed to stay is kind of just a few miles from this tequilery where they like make tequila, and it's like on tap. Like there's like 45. I was reading about it in the pamphlet. There's some place where it's like you walk in and they'll just give you shots to test. But
honestly, I'd just be dead within like 6 hours. I mean, oh, that's dangerous stuff.
So that's what I said. I'll get you a sampler pack or something,
Oh, dude.
and maybe we could do like a quick half an hour show and just watch me kind of deteriorate into drunkenness after sampling like 15 different tequilas.
Well, did you know? Because we're talking, and god dang, I need to go get a refill. So you're gonna get to take the mic here for a moment.
All right.
But did you know, from my understanding, tequila is the only alcohol that is not a depressant.
Really?
Pow. Knowledge.
All right.
Fact check that real quick too. But I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go refill my beverage. Would you fact check that?
Let me fact check that right now. Let me go to the old Google machine and fact check that.
Just because, you're gonna have to coast us home more than likely. Because
ooh. All right. You want me to fact check it while you're off the air? Despite the fact that you may have seen people drinking tequila get rapturous and overly energetic, it is, in fact, a depressant. This is because it's a form of alcohol or ethanol, which is the same intoxicating ingredient in beer, wine, and other liquors. The alcohol molecule is the same in all types of alcoholic drinks. So, unfortunately, we busted his myth. But, let's see here. Everything you've always wanted to know about tequila, but were too afraid to ask. So tequila, he was right. It's made from an agave plant. I always get agave and what's the stuff you put on burns when you get burned? I've never had a sunburn, but aloe? Yeah, aloe. I always get agave and aloe mixed up, and I guess that could be kind of weird if you, anyways. All right. It can take up to 12 years for an agave plant to ripen. I didn't know that. And there's different types of tequila. There's blanco or silver, reposto, Ejo, año, and then there's extra año. Interesting. So, tequila actually has 0 carbs, actually, if you wanted to know that. And
on the glycemic index.
Yeah. And tequila, along with vodka and gin, are gluten-free.
Yes.
Gluten-free.
Was my earlier statement bullshit or not?
So let me read it. So you've probably heard that tequila is the only upper spirit, but tequila is still alcohol, and alcohol is a depressant. While anecdotal evidence, aka your 20th birthday party, may suggest that agave is a stimulant, there have been no studies to support that.
Ooh. All right, sounds bullshit. Sorry, folks.
It's all good.
Well,
so how do you feel about the worm?
Like the rest of you.
How do you feel about the worm in tequila?
I've never seen one.
Oh, so I've been to Mexico a couple times,
and I've had many bottles,
and I've seen. So okay, I went to El Castillo like 3 years ago.
Okay.
The pyramid in Mexico.
Neat.
The one where you can see the snake going up the side of it on the equinox.
Dude, you went there on the equinox?
No, I wasn't there on the equinox, but I was there.
That's how cool is that, by the way? I mean, that's shifting gears a wee bit, but dude, I don't even care. That's like, to me, that's one of the neatest things. The idea that there's cultures building the sim.
There's El Castillo and there's El Jamal.
El Jamal.
Okay.
So I mean, what do you say when you see that, and then you know that the stuff's over there in Egypt, also pyramids?
Yeah. How cool is that?
No,
I'm like right there.
It's so good. I mean, what else? What did they say? That they found traces of like coca, and it was something else like in Africa.
Right.
And there's like no way, and that doesn't grow there.
Yeah, there's no way. It's
and it's like in ancient ruins in Africa. They find traces of it was coca and something else.
See, I'm representing my Carolina Panthers shirt, and there's the pyramid in the back.
Aren't they more of like Jaguars?
Yeah, but whenever I fly somewhere, I always wear my Carolina Panthers stuff. Oh yeah, speaking of Jaguars, look at that. It's like you knew what I was going to put up next.
That's sweet.
So if you watch the Discovery Channel, you'll see this cool stuff. I actually got to touch it. Wasn't supposed to touch it, but I touched it. And I also almost got kicked out because these were the stairs that supposedly the Mayan gods would descend down from on top of the pyramid. And somehow Jamal hopped over that fence and walked up those stairs. I just had to.
Oh man,
I had to.
You had no concern, perhaps, of like becoming a sacrifice or some shit by the locals for
well
desecrating their shit.
I wasn't desecrating it. I just wanted to see what was up there.
Usually, what folks desecrating shit say.
So here is this is the palace right there. This was like the remains of the king's palace, and those are the stairs I went up. So it was all good. They were cool with it.
Were they?
I'm here.
So also next on Jamal's trips, Jamal smokes a big fat blunt in Turkey.
Yeah, right. So let me see here. I think I have a picture of do I have a picture of Tequila and the Worm, or did I hallucinate that?
By the way, if you want to send me bottles that don't have a worm in them, that is fine.
Yeah, I can.
Now makes me feel like I'm gonna get only bottles with worms in
them. No, I won't send you. So the worm has like hallucinogenic powers. So depends on if you want to trip. If you want to trip balls or not, let me know. But I'll send you something.
We legalized that kind of stuff here, by the way, don't you know? So if I feel like going down that road, I can, Yeah,
if you want to trip balls, you got a cheaper way to do it.
Well, I mean, a state approved, which that's a weird thing here. Like, there's going to be like mushroom clinics.
That is a little bit strange.
Like the law is like you have to go to a place to consume them, which I don't know. Maybe if it's a really neat place, like the top of a damn pyramid.
How cool is that?
I mean, but what does it tell you at all about the world that we're living in, where I don't know what the carbon dating of those things is, how it corresponds to the pyramids over in Egypt. But like they talk about, there's a place called Göbekli Tepe, I think it's.
Yes, Göbekli Temple.
Something like that.
Yes. Oh, I'm very familiar.
That's older, which is like some ancient ass ruins in like Iraq or somewhere.
Yes. Turkey, I think it is.
Where you're going to smoke blunts. And they say that is like 9,000 years old or something. Something crazy. And they put it in perspective. That they were saying, like when Cleopatra was around.
Yes.
That, how did it go? That like the pyramids. The pyramids, like the distance, her distance in time relative to the pyramids was like this much. Our distance to the time to the pyramids, but to go left, it's like all the way over here to that. Lucky Teple.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Way older. I'm sure I just destroyed that whole.
No, I think you're right. I also, what's on my bucket list is Machu Picchu. I want to go and see Machu Picchu in Peru.
Nice.
Which is like pyramids, but built up on top of a 10,000 foot mountain.
No, forget about it. What's your inspiration for wanting to go to these? Is it just for like banging Instagrams? Is it?
No, I'm not the biggest
spiritual calling.
No, I want to see all the 7 wonders of the world. Like I want to see them, And when I was in Mexico and I went to see El Castillo. It just, I don't know, man. I'm not the most religious person, but I just had this kind of synergy feeling when I was there. They say some people can feel the pyramid vibrate. And it's really weird. There's a part where you walk by where there's the stairs that go up, right? And this is how weird it is. That pyramid is also a calculator, right? There's 364 stairs, with the top being 365, right? And it's perfectly spaced out for like quarters of the year, the way the stairs go up.
I got you.
And when you come down the other side, like the whole thing is like astronomical, like it's a big math problem. Like if you count the stairs, there is a stair for every day. And there's a part where you stand and it's kind of the open spot, and supposedly that's where the bird, the Mexicans have the eagle is big in their symbolism.
Cattle or something like that.
Yeah, that's where the bird would sit and it would crow or whatever sound it would make, and it would echo all across the plains. So if you stand in a certain spot, like directly in front of it, and you yell, it hits it and it echoes and it sounds like a microphone.
Wow.
It is bizarre. And when it echoes, you feel it at the same time as you hear it. Like it makes your ears ring. It is like incredible. And it's like this thing was built like in 900 AD or something, like, and where it sits and where it lines up with like the stars in the sky, like it's a 1-for-1 deal.
Right.
And then on the equinox, a snake, the light like a snake goes up the side. Like how are they able to figure that out? Like, I mean, just being realistic, like we would have a hard time doing that today. And these people did this like with no electricity. They built this pyramid with no power tools. I mean, I stood about, well, obviously I touched it and I wasn't supposed to, but I was looking at it face to face. And these blocks of stone are smooth. Dude, I touched it. I wasn't supposed to touch it. I touched the eagle's head. It wasn't like it was like hastily put together. This was like, I can't even explain how well the craftsmanship of this was done.
Like the best craftsmanship that I've seen that I can think of offhand is like when I visited Timberline Lodge, where like every door handle was like a carved like animal's head, like a wolf or like a raccoon or deer. I mean, there was like every banister, every railing had just carvings and all over the place. I mean, everything was just so elaborate and ornate, and there was just so much craftsmanship everywhere you looked. It was ridiculous. And even like when you see some of the old buildings, like in Detroit, or back east, some of the ridiculous buildings, and I'm sure we could remake those if we gave any effort to. What I thought was interesting is apparently the new accepted idea of the pyramids in Egypt was that they were not in fact built by slaves, but they were built by just people being commissioned to build the pyramids.
Craftsmen in today's terms.
Yeah, which, holy crap, you got a lot of good craftsmen.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I guess they were able to teach everybody how to chip some rock. But I've seen videos of those pyramids in Egypt where they show like the stonework and how precise it is.
Yeah.
I mean, how exact it is. And I mean, I'm sure no expert in any of stonework, but I watch videos of people that are, experts in stonework, and they go, that's some precise ass stuff.
Yeah.
And that it's still like that after this eons is crazy, obviously. However, they were able to do it. And again, like you talk about too, the crazy precise measurements, whether it's based on, like being based on north-south,
right,
stars, constellations, equinoxes, dates of the calendar.
But dude, I mean, it's like they figured it out. So on a certain day of the year, the light shines in a certain spot and it makes an illusion. Like
nothing. But I mean, also, I mean, I'm just saying, consider, yes, it is amazing. Yes, it is. It's staggering. they had nothing else to do.
No, this is true.
Just
but you still have to have the skill.
I'm just saying, like, if it was at a point in human history, I'm sure they were warring. I'm sure they were fighting. That's always going on. But anytime there was probably like a lull in the fighting, and whether that came through harmonic living of everybody or an iron fist of an emperor, which is probably more likely. But that peace that was there let them do bigger things.
No, I got you. I know.
I'm even with that. I mean, that you had the entire civilization pointed in one direction, which that alone is a feat. I mean, come on, you're talking however many tens of thousands of people all getting together to do something like this. It is crazy. But like we talked about, I mean, the tools that they had available to them, I mean, and the precision that they worked to, and we talk about, I mean, how long, if they built something like that in modern times, I mean, we would go, oh my God. You know what I mean? And we don't even know, we can only kind of imagine what they're supposed to look like in all their glory.
Right.
When they were brand new and beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a crumbling mess of what they used to be. You know what I'm saying? And they're still stunning, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's similar to, like, I mean, shit, I've just been looking at stuff like in ancient Greece, the Colosseums and the Parthenons.
Yeah.
Like Pantheon, Parthenon?
Yes.
Both?
Yes. There's one of each, yes.
Is there? Okay, mm-hmm. Sweet. Mm-hmm. I'm on a roll. Could we do that again? I imagine, if all of our resources were turned to doing such a thing. But instead we're building aircraft carriers and stealth jets
But you know, in 2,000 years, people might look back at our aircraft carriers and go, my God, they built a city that floats on water. You know, like, how did they do that? You know, that could be the modern day equivalent of a pyramid, you know, because theoretically something that's
a sad note of, like, it's all just for blowing shit up. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, when you think about it, something that's like 10 stories tall shouldn't be able to float on the water.
I don't know about that. Science says it should.
Yeah, I get it. But you know what I mean? So the thing that struck me,
remarkable, it got figured out like that. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I applaud the whole shit out of smart people that figured that out.
The thing that struck me the most about the pyramid in Mexico was, you get off the bus and you can kind of see the pyramid kind of off to the side, and you have to walk to it. Mm-hmm. And there's this road that, you know, and nowadays it's like all these like local Mexican people, and they're trying to sell you this or that. And they're like, oh, you know, senor, buy this from me. But this road that you're walking on, I learned after I got to the site, that is the original road that the people built, that the Mayans built.
Nice.
And it is the flattest.
And you're just walking on like an
straightest.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like what I-5 or I-84 is supposed to. I mean, it looked like somebody had one of those survey things out there, and they're looking through the little thing, and it was smooth. I mean, and the stones that they built the road out of, they were saying from like 200 miles away.
Right.
You know, they had to bring those stones 200 miles to there. And this road, they haven't done any improvements on it. And it is level and flat and straight. And it goes for like 600 yards, 700 yards. And it was just like the most beautiful road you've ever seen. And it's like, we struggle today in 2021 when the city tries to build a road and it cracks and it's got potholes and it was just so the moment you get off the bus, like, it just strikes you that like you said, for 200 years they had nothing to do. Right? They had to look and see, okay, here comes 300 people trying to kill us, we got to figure out how to kill them. Other than that, they didn't really have anything to do. I mean, I don't know what they did every day, right? They prayed, they farmed corn, they did X, Y, and Z.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. There was a civilization that had enough ability to, I mean, they were huge enough. Well, I mean, they conquered the whole land around them. They built these huge buildings. They dominated the landscape for that time being, to where okay, fine. When you've got agriculture going on, they had running water going on. I
Yeah.
mean, the way that they were I mean, of course they did. Um,
The amount of water you would need to build a pyramid like that is ridiculous.
but I mean, just in their cities, like overall, I mean, like when they were big, full functioning cities, like all laid out. I mean, that there was like running water,
Yep, aquifers and all that. Yeah.
and I mean, just like in ancient Rome and Greece and stuff, like the central baths and how they had running water. I mean, even in like they show that in Rome, like that
The viaducts.
thank you, that are running for. I mean, those are running for hundreds of miles.
Yes.
Not just a few hundred yards. I mean, several hundred miles. And even the ancient Roman roads that are still in use today, and those things went for thousands of miles.
Yes.
In all directions.
Yes. And see, I think we give Rome a discount because Rome was relatively recent in the historical perspective,
How can you give them a discount for accomplishment? I mean, I know we're skipping over the ancient map right now, but at the same time, you're talking, I mean, those folks, I mean, they conquered, the only people that conquered more area than them was Genghis Khan, right?
Right. Yes.
And I don't know how much Genghis did infrastructure week. He seemed to mostly just ride around whooping ass and getting laid.
Oh yeah. Genghis Khan, they had no written language. They were literally barbarians. They just went around and shot people's heads off.
Spread his seed. Like we're all descended from Genghis Khan, right?
Exactly. But my point with that is Romans had written language. They had mathematicians. They, we can I mean, think about it. 10th grade algebra, you learn the isosceles triangle and all this stuff.
But they had the same thing in ancient Mexico.
Right, I know, but that's my point. Is that was 1,000 years before Rome, and it's just like how freaking awesome is that? And then the math to build the pyramids and Göbekli Temple, like the math that somebody think about it this way: somebody had to sit down with a chisel and a knife or a pen and a piece of paper and sketch out. I want to build this pyramid.
I think we underestimate.
Do you hear that?
Oh, yeah, no, Wild Kingdom.
I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna let this guy out.
Panther pride right there.
Yes. It's snowing.
It's like your flag has come alive and it's like, right? It's like a mean looking kitty.
Apparently it's snowing in Charlotte right now.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, it's snowing.
Is that why your kitty's excited?
Yeah, he wants to go outside. But somebody had to
I do think we kind of underestimate maybe how much people can get done when organized, and especially with the idea that the pyramids were not built with slave labor, like was thought for slave labor. I mean, it just shows. I mean, with organization, with people being paid, compensated, having a safe environment.
Yeah.
Relatively.
I
mean, come on, you're on a huge construction project. I mean, they didn't have OSHA, but or they didn't have whatever health and standards, but they probably did kind of. I mean, dude, you can't be that organized of a community and do that scale of a job and not have some kind of standards. I mean, otherwise you'd have disease ripping through your entire population.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
So they talked a lot about, on the shows that I watched, they talk a lot about how, if you think about it, how much it took to feed the workers, right? The workers and their families, they had to feed them. They had to find a place for them to sleep.
Here's an idea. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Like, they've always surmised that these things were built because they're like emperors' tombs and kings' tombs.
Right.
What if they were essentially like work projects? You know what I'm saying? They were, they were a way to keep everybody busy.
Yeah.
Keep everybody with a job. Keep everybody employed and happy and making some money. Maybe buying that new fancy bronze necklace for the missus.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But you're keeping them all busy. I mean, honestly, it's either that or you go send them off to go kick some ass.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, you're keeping everybody busy, happy, because they're not enslaved busy. They're happy, all excited about building this monument for whatever effing reason you're getting them stoked about. Because, I mean, come on. We see every day how easy our entire population can be manipulated to be excited or sad about one thing or another. So if you have your captive audience, like you do in your town of whatever the hellville, Jungleville, then you've got your captive audience, and you're mustering them all day long to do whatever thing, to be excited about it. All the priests and whatever wise men and shamans and shit that you're saying, hey, by the way, tell everybody to get stoked about building the pyramid because we need a work project.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, it's going to be really sweet, just like Timberline Lodge is a great example of a work project that happened from the Great Depression. It's the most beautiful architecture you'll ever freaking see. It's still there because they built that thing to last forever. And I think it's just an example. I mean, maybe that's all the pyramids were. They were work projects. They were a way to keep that society content, and not discontent, but moving forward. When their society was content and safe and happy, they did cool things like build pyramids because they're like, hey, we ain't got shit else to do. We're not killing everybody else or whatever.
Right.
Let's do something cool. Let's build this cool monument to whomever.
So yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. Here's my thing, and this is a question I don't have the answer to. Is the pyramid structure itself, is that something that's inherent to humans? Like, do we like
stacking blocks on top of each other?
Is it?
I mean, sure.
Because I mean, why do you see pyramids on pretty much every continent? And supposedly we couldn't talk to each other back then, right? Like the people.
Why is that the shape that got built?
Yeah, because I mean, like people in Mexico, from what we're told in school, didn't know that there was an Egypt, right? They didn't know that there was an Egypt.
But I think that I think we're already showing that that's false by showing that those. And I, again, had to do some looking ups, but I know I heard somewhere about how in ancient ruins in Africa, they found evidence of like coca plants and some other damn plant from Central America, and there was like no other way to account for it being over there. I mean, there is no way to account for it being over there other than somebody was sailing the ocean a long time ago.
Right.
And
well, I mean, just mainstream history shows that people were good at sailing, right? Easter Island, what is that? 1,500 miles off the coast.
Right? But I don't think Easter Island. I don't think folks came down from North America to South America and then out to Easter Island. I believe folks came from Africa, up and out of Africa through Asia, got all the way to the edge of Asia,
and then down to Easter Island.
Went through all the islands of like the Philippines,
right?
Japan,
Australia,
and you're like, what's after this?
Right.
Set sail, and it just kept on going. You know what I mean? Until they hit something.
Right.
And I bet a lot of them didn't hit shit and ended up at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Then some of them did, and they landed on places like Easter Island. Or, I mean, how far did those folks get? Is that where they finally, dropped the line? I guess we'd be curious. Does the DNA stop like there?
Right. I know what you mean.
Like all of the DNA, like in South America, comes from all the folks that went up and over the land bridge and then came down through Alaska, Canada, North America, South America. That's all a DNA strand there. But I think I'm positive I saw like a map that shows like there was a group of folks that went, out of Africa through Asia, populated all Asia and all that. And I mean, some of them went all the way
into those Filipino, those chain of islands in there.
Went up and over, through Russia and into Alaska. Some went up here and then did all that and came down. But some didn't. Some stayed over here and then went through Asia, Japan, like you said, the islands. And then some brave fuckers went, let's go, and then set off from there.
And just kept going,
And I mean, try to even imagine. Let's go.
I know, right?
You're like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Right. Like I'm on a perfectly good island, and I think there's an island over there, but I'm not sure.
And no idea. You have no idea. But
Yeah.
you know, the Great Spirit said, let's sail, yo. And
Right.
so everybody's gonna sail. And
So have you seen those videos of people in like Brazil, like those untouched tribes? Have you seen those videos?
mm-hmm.
I would love, and obviously I don't want to exploit people, but I would love to see the DNA from those guys.
Oh.
So those tribes that,
I'm sure that would I'm sure a lot of scientist folks would,
you know, so they found these tribes that like have never seen another human, and like they're shooting arrows at the helicopters. And
well, there was the one group, but it was like over like in India.
Yeah.
There was like an island off the coast of India. But like all the folks in
That's
India,
what it was. Yeah.
All the folks in India know about it.
Right.
And they're like, don't go there.
Yeah.
And then some guy was like, no, I'm going to bring Jesus. And they're like, no, don't go.
Yeah, don't do it.
He's like, no, I got this. You know, landed ashore, goes, hey, I got Jesus. They're like, I got a spear.
Right.
And that was the end of that dude.
But imagine seeing their DNA sequence, you know, and like where they
it'd be so, and you know how, I mean, tell me there ain't a scientist go, we could just dart one, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But obviously I assume that's like, you know, crossing some ethical lines. But it is just real curious. I mean, you know, like even your idea of like, you know, why did everybody settle on pyramids? Did all those pyramids timeline wise correspond? You know, the pyramids in Central America, where do they correspond timeline wise with the pyramids in Egypt? I honestly do not know.
Right.
I don't know if they're anywhere close to the same timeline or way far apart.
But have you ever thought about that? Like, why a pyramid? And why a pyramid that is roughly the same shape and the same height?
I mean, they are. I mean, yes, it's the same shape because it's a pyramid, but like from some of the renderings I've seen of what the Egyptian pyramids allegedly look like in their heyday.
Oh yeah, they were nice and smooth with limestone coverings.
Yeah.
And the Central American pyramids were more step pyramids.
Yeah. And yes, it's still a similar shape.
But I mean, have you thought about that? Like,
the whole point is that you're trying to get up close to God. How else do you get up there?
Yeah. And I mean, like, and in the 19th and 20th century, people were building skyscrapers, very cylindrical, phallic, tall buildings.
But it's all just reaching up.
It's all reaching up.
And the thing is, I mean, we have the engineering to reach more directly up, but I mean, I don't know what the height of the pyramid is relative to a skyscraper. I assume skyscrapers are taller than pyramids.
I can tell you.
They have to be. Because you knew that had to be like something like back in the 20s, the big industrial boom revolution. That had to be such a thing of like the first person to build a building taller than the pyramids.
448 feet.
I mean, come on.
So it's basically a 50-story building is how tall the pyramid is.
There you go. So that had to be like such a big landmark, the first person to build a building taller than the pyramid.
Taller than the pyramid.
Right. When they talk about, like they talk about, I believe it was back in Rome. There was a time where like they were building all these, I don't think they were clock towers, but they were like these pinnacle kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all just like, it's just boners, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody had to, you know, outdo each other and build their little boner a little bit taller.
And I mean, we haven't even touched on the Sphinx. I mean, we could do research and do a whole show on this. Like, I am fascinated with the Giza Plateau. Like, I've been to Mexico. I've seen El Castillo. It's on my bucket list to go see the pyramids and see the Sphinx. And I think the thing that really fascinates me more than anything is not the outside of these pyramids, but the inside. And the inside of the Sphinx and how it has not really been explored that well. Because all you see is the outside, but you talk about the intricate stonework on the inside of these burial chambers and how they buried the king and how they put up these massive granite blocks that, like, we still don't understand how they hung a granite block, suspended it in the air, on these other pillars. Like this thing weighs like 2 tons, and it's a granite block, and it's sitting up on 4 pillars. And it's like, we would need like the biggest ass crane today to put that granite block on these 4 pillars.
Right.
And this happened in 3,000 years ago, right? 4,000 years ago. And there's this 2,000-pound, perfectly symmetrical granite block sitting on 4 pillars, which are 100% smooth all the way around, like smooth, like it's just sitting there, and it's like, how the hell do they do that?
Yeah. Well, and there's like, because like the quarries that all that stone came from, and some of the videos that are nearby there, and they show like it's like a stone that was like about to be carved out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, holy shnikes. I mean,
yeah.
You literally see what they were up to, and you're like, oh my gosh. Who was the first one that goes, okay, here's what we're gonna do?
Yeah. We're gonna get this big ass slab of granite. we're gonna carve it into this thing that's like 100 feet tall, and it's got like limestone on the top. And we're gonna get that rock, and we're gonna lift it, and we're gonna put it on a boat, and we're gonna send it all the way down. You can't even see. And put it on a boat and send it down there. We're gonna stand it up.
But just the planning that it takes to I mean, because like you imagine like the stone that you're talking about, like with the cross, like because you imagine like okay, they built the pyramid up to however high, and they're at that level where they're going to be making like the king's tomb or whatever, and I mean, the planning,
right?
To okay, we're building all these blocks up around everything. Okay, this is when we build this part here,
right?
Well, I mean, and we're actually going to build this gigantic crane just to get this one stone into place, and then we'll keep building around it.
Yes.
It is just staggering, and it would be neat to see any or all of it. I mean, the Great Wall. I mean, I don't know. I saw Hoover Dam. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was running out of gas when we crossed it, and so I was just kind of like, "Look, Hoover Dam."
There's Hoover Dam. Yeah, no. I am gonna go to Egypt someday. I'm gonna see it. It's on my bucket list. I'm gonna see it.
Okay, so what new mega project then for mankind, for United States mankind? Infrastructure Week.
I don't know, man.
What's a works project that would bring the country together? Build the wall.
So this is before our time, but Eisenhower, right? We all know Dwight D. Eisenhower. Mm-hmm. If you've ever driven on a freeway, you've seen the Eisenhower system. Any freeway you get on that's I and then some numbers was part of that plan, right? It was kind of the thing right after that came after the rail. So the railroads was kind of the first thing, right?
Okay, right.
You've heard the story about the rail. I don't know if you've heard the story about the railroads, about how you could only get from like New York to like Chicago. Like you could not get, it would take you 6 days to get something from New York to Chicago to San Francisco. Right? 6 days by stagecoach, or 16 days by stagecoach. Yeah, that's what it was. It was 16 days by stagecoach.
6 days sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. 16 days by stagecoach. So once they built the rail system, you could get from New York to San Francisco in 6 days. Right? So you cut it in half and then some. And then when Eisenhower put together the roads package, now you had an interstate going in and out of every city or near every village. And that was kind of the thing that kind of brought the country together, because now.
Gosh, doesn't it sound like an opportunity to do a similar thing? Whether it's just, reinvest in all of that crumbling infrastructure and or improve on it, and couldn't a time like now and a president like this current one that I mean, he doesn't need to worry about political capital. He's not, he doesn't need to worry about running again. He can literally just cash it all in.
Dude, you know what it is? What I think it is? It's high-speed rail.
But I mean, if I may, just even the drive to get all this stuff done. I mean, we've seen like stacks and stacks of executive orders signed that are aimed at, getting a lot of things going. And I'm very anxiously watching and curious as to see what tone President Biden will, how I've seen a lot of talk about how much Obama's administration got sidelined because they tried to work with the Republicans who were not bargaining in any good faith.
Right.
And how Biden witnessed all of that, saw the results of it, and now this perhaps is his opportunity to go, okay, you know what? I'm familiar with what that got us, which was not very far. So, we'll go ahead and, ask politely, and we'll go ahead and do what we want to go do.
And I think that's what he's doing now. So I don't know how familiar you are with the rules of the Senate and the rules of acclamation, I think it's called, or reclamation. What they've been doing, and you heard about the big vote-a-rama they had with like 16 hours of voting the other night, where they were passing little pieces of the budget so that it could go through on a straight 51 to 49 vote. Did you see that?
I'm not familiar with how that broke down. So
yeah, so essentially what it was is the Republicans are showing that they are not going to play ball with the $1.4 trillion COVID bill that would deliver an additional $1,400 to each American who makes, $75,000 or less individually, or $150,000 as a family. So what they're doing is they're passing little small bills in kind of bite-sized portions that will all add up to a bill. So when they send the bill through, it doesn't need 60-something votes. It only needs 51.
Really?
So yeah, so that's what they've been doing.
I had no idea. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. So at the same time, running parallel track to that, he's negotiating with the Republicans because they've kind of countered with the $660 billion package, which is about half of what he wants to do, but it doesn't nearly include all the things he wants. So he's negotiating with them in public, but the Senate has been passing all these little small bills. So when he gets ready to push the whole thing through, he doesn't need any Republicans at all. All he needs is all the Democrats and Kamala Harris to vote for it, and then the bill goes through. So,
but even that is not a given to have all the Democrats in lockstep, like all the Republicans.
Because there's a few Democrats that are, for whatever reason, not wanting to jump on and play ball. So that's why they haven't brought the bill up yet, because they don't think that they have all the votes, when in theory they should have all the votes. But they're doing all the things behind the scenes so they can just go plow and put it out there and it goes through. So essentially they're doing what you're doing. They're just what you're saying. They're just not doing it in the brash manner of that. They're kind of doing it slowly but surely behind the scenes, getting all the ducks in a row, and then it can go through with just a 51 to 49 vote.
Well, that's awesome.
It's very smart politically the way they're doing it.
Okay, well, I mean, that's somewhat reassuring. Was there some capitulation about like, oh shit, what was it? Like the not getting enough. They were trying to tie like minimum wage increase. So I don't know if that was part of
so okay, let me read this to you. Let me give credit. This is from CNN or CBS News. The Senate passed a budget resolution very early Friday morning, a key step for the Democratic-controlled Congress to pass President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package proposal without any Republican votes. The 51 to 50 vote, with Kamala Harris breaking the tie, came after an all-night marathon vote-a-rama. The vote-a-rama included 41 votes with dozens of amendments considered. Harris cast her first tie-breaking vote as vice president, allowing any resolution to finally passed shortly before 6 a.m. with support of all 50 Democratic senators. The senators voted to reject a major component of the Biden plan, raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. In a voice vote, Senator narrowly approved an amendment from Iowa Republican Joni Ernst that would ban the increase during a pandemic. However, the increase could be restored once the final measure is hashed out. Here's the key point. Passing a budget resolution is part of a process known as reconciliation. That's the word I was looking for, which allows legislation to pass the Senate, which allows legislation to pass in the Senate with only a simple majority instead of the typical 60-vote threshold, meaning Democrats would be able to greenlight it without any Republican votes. But Republicans force Democrats to go on record with a series of votes and a slew of amendments in the painfully politically thing called votorama. So they have to pass each part of this budget. That's why it took them 16 hours to get them all passed.
I get it.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, after all of this, I mean, and did I not say the insurrection would get already forgotten about and just passed over like that shit happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just back to stonewalling and being useless as fuck and wanting nothing to help at all.
Well, the good thing is that there are some really smart people in here who know the Senate rules very well, and this vote of reconciliation is something that hasn't been used since like the 80s, and it's 100% legal. And the last time somebody did it was the Republicans, so they really can't say you can't do it.
Oh, they still will.
They still will.
Oh, fucking that! They have no shame.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm super stoked about that. I thought I heard some detraction about why isn't Biden doing this or that, but whatever. I mean, I'm sure there's something that could, is not good enough. But at least it sounds like progress. I mean, $1.9 trillion. I mean, what a figure that you can't even comprehend. I mean,
right. That's a lot of money.
Nobody can. I mean, and how much of that is still just going to disappear into the, I mean, how much of that is going into pockets? It is. I'm just saying. So you're saying $1,400 checks. Okay, great. And that's supposed to get everybody through until when?
September.
Uh-huh. How fast do you burn through $1,400?
So if you're a family of four and you make under $150,000, that would be $1,400 for both adults and $1,400 for both children.
Like each adult gets $1,400 and each child. That's a little more substantial.
Yeah. Just like the $600 checks. Like I got a $600 check for myself, my wife, and the two kids.
It's a little more substantial, but nevertheless, I mean, because here's my thing, and I wanted to mention this earlier, and ta-da, here we are. Riddle me this. Was it J-Man? Jamal Man?
Big Jam.
Big Jam. Damn it. Riddle me this, Big Jam. Because there's a massive push, at least in this area, to prioritize teachers for vaccines.
Okay.
And then and the next step right after that is then open all the schools. There is no vaccine for anybody under 16.
This is correct.
That math doesn't pencil to me. Can you show it? Can you show your work as to why opening up schools with the kids not having any vaccines, but the teachers have vaccines, so it's all good.
That just means the kids are going to bring it home and give it to the parents, and the parents can't get a shot yet because they're not old enough.
But even if the parents could get a shot, even if every adult that could get a shot can,
then you're just going to have the kids sick.
We're just writing off all the kids?
Yeah. Gosh,
it's good to know our teachers have the kids at heart. they're really in it for a cause.
I mean, they're saying that the kids are less likely to get it. They can still get it, but kids, for whatever reason, are more resistant to it. And, you know, the politicians are rolling the dice saying, only a few kids are going to die, not a whole lot of them. So let's go.
And see, but it's not just the politicians saying that, because what's frustrating to me is that I hear so many teachers going, oh my gosh, we need to be prioritized. We need to be front of the line as a teacher because I'm going to be in school. And you're like, wait a minute, school isn't even in session right now.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you need to be in the front of the line? You're not interacting with kids right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in an area like Florida, that's just like, fuck it. Then okay, fine. I understand prioritizing. I really like, hell yes, I understand that. Because it's ridiculous to even be open. But to me, the reasonable point of view is that we continue to stay closed like we have been this whole time. There's no impetus for teachers to be vaccinated above anybody else because the schools are closed. And it seems to be this, oh my gosh, we teachers need to be vaccinated, and then suddenly we can all open up the schools. And I don't understand that at all.
I don't understand it at all either. Hold on, I gotta let this cat in. Filibuster for me for 2.
Yeah, no, let the cat in. My neighbor's cat recently was eaten by a coyote. So, you know, you don't want that. I have a dog that is a puggle. I'm not sure a coyote could carry that off. She's thick. And then she's like dead weight. And she's probably tough. Anyhow, work on the vaccine for kids, hey? Seems like a thing to do. But yeah, nobody seems to even mention it. I don't understand that. Like, once we get all the teachers vaccinated, we're all good. Wide open, here we come. And apparently we're going to expect a bunch of kids to wear masks because they're really going to be good at that. I mean, totes. And then hopefully you've had your shot at home because little Johnny is coming home with some shit. And can I just say, you know,
my kid, my oldest is good at wearing a mask, and my 8-year-old is not good at wearing a mask at all.
No 8-year-old would be good at wearing a mask. Are you kidding? I mean, come on.
She's 8. I mean,
but even expecting an older kid to wear a mask for 8 hours a day is ridiculous. I mean, that is a tough ask.
It is. It's a really tough ask.
But okay, fine. I guess to me that's a big ask. But okay, fine. But it all falls apart when suddenly you're like, oh, well, we're all going to have lunch in the cafeteria.
Well, so at my kids' school, before Thanksgiving, they were in school 2 days a week. And my kids go to kind of a smaller school anyway. They go to a Montessori school, so it's not like a big, huge elementary school. But they went to school 2 days a week, so they had all the kids spaced out. So some kids went Monday, Tuesday. Everybody was remote on Wednesday, and then my kids went to school Thursday, Friday in person. So everything they did was kind of independent learning while they were in school. Cafeteria was closed, media center was closed, playground was closed, and they did pretty much everything in their classroom, socially distanced, 6 feet apart. So we had to send lunch for them. They had to eat lunch at their individual stations, and they were never really close to anybody. You know, my kids don't ride the bus anyway, but there was very limited buses, and the people who were on buses had to wear their mask on the bus, and they had to be X amount of rows apart. So At least with my kids' school, I feel like they did it the right way.
I mean, at least that's as close to a right way as you can. At least that's making some efforts. I just, from my understanding of the spread of virulent airborne pathogens, there is no right way to do it.
There isn't.
And
No, you're right about that. I mean,
there just ain't. And so that's what I just don't understand. You know, this. Oh well, we've done almost all of it, so it's kind of okay. Any hole in the program is a big hole, and is it sinks the whole ship. So.
and I mean, there's no vaccine in sight for kids under 16.
Well,
because who's going to volunteer their kid for tribute to be tested?
I'll tell you who. The same folks that did back in the days of polio. Apparently, almost 500,000, I believe, people volunteered their kids to either get placebo or the shot to test.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, again, we are talking about, but I mean, think about that though, man. We're talking about just a different mindset of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And team player. Mm-hmm. We don't have that anymore. We just do not. I mean,
right. That was also the era where parents would encourage their 18-year-olds to join the army and go fight Germans.
That was a cause worth fighting for.
Right.
You know, I don't know if as many folks were encouraging their kids to join the army and go fight the Viet Cong.
True.
Not quite as noble as a cause. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know as many people are encouraging their kiddo to go, you know, fight in Iraq. You know, if it's join the military because you don't have any other good job prospects,
right?
That I get, and that's a whole nother sad topic that we can address. But if it's, you know, fight for a cause.
Yeah.
What is your cause? Freaking Exxon? I mean.
So here's the thing. I'm a team player. I'm all for big works projects and getting things done. But I don't know if I'd offer up either one of my kids for a coronavirus under 16 test.
Dude, I hear you.
You know, and I'm the biggest one that says we need regulation, we need works projects.
But at the same time, it's like it's like if they put that call out there, you know, I don't know. I mean, I know I would probably wuss out, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if that would help this whole thing, you know, that your kid would either get the test vaccine or like a fake shot. I don't know.
Well, see, the problem is
like that's what it is going to take because we don't have, you know, like you say,
we don't have
people are tested on.
Yeah, well, the problem is we don't know what we don't know what the vaccine, how it's going to affect the kids. We have a really good idea of how it affects adults, right? There's some side effects.
I bet we have a lot better idea how this vaccine works than we did about polio vaccine.
True, 100%.
I mean, that's the only reason why this vaccine came out as fast as it did, because I mean, we've got all the working history up till now of vaccines, and this one is similar to a lot of other ones. And so,
and I don't know if you know people personally who had the vaccine. I know quite a few people who've recently gotten their second dose, and you know, their arm was sore, they might have had a headache, and you know, just some small side effects, but nothing bad.
Sure.
You know,
good to hear. Yeah.
For whatever reason, I guess I didn't realize I had as many friends in the healthcare industry as I do, but I do.
Right.
Because I, you know, see people on Facebook, they're like, "Oh, I just got my second dose," and I'm like, "Oh, really?" Oh, and they're like, "Yeah, I work at such and such." I'm like, I didn't know. Okay, rock on. That's good to know.
No, I have not heard. All I know is that I mean, it like they've talked about some pretty mass rollouts coming. Mass distribution sites.
Well, all of our old friends from the law firm all got shots. They were all prioritized.
Makes sense. I mean,
because they go into jails and prisons on a daily basis. So they all of them, everybody at the law firm got a shot or both.
No, I get that.
And from seeing their posts, none of them have had too many adverse effects or any adverse effects at all. That would be like, oh my God, so and so's left arm fell off or something.
No, for sure. It's gotta be crazy though. I mean, to have the shot and then be sent back out to the wild, like go to the jails.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fucking great,
Well, I mean, you think about it. I mean,
hey, you got your shot, so I guess good to go.
If one person in jail gets the Rona, everybody's gonna have it because you've been in a jail. I've been in a jail.
But that's the same idea. If anybody at school's got it, everybody's going to get it. I mean, why is school any different than jail?
Yeah, that's true.
You're all breathing recirculated air. Yeah. And yeah, I get it. You might be 6 feet apart at the craft table, but air floats further than 6 feet. It doesn't stay in your little 6-foot cube.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're literally in a bubble. All the kids in class, I mean, yeah, okay, fine. They're not literally licking each other, but they're all breathing the same air, and that's how this shit works. And it doesn't matter if they're all 6 feet apart in a small room. Everybody in that same room is breathing that air.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The end.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in that building is breathing that air.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the other 8 classrooms is breathing that air, and you're breathing their air. That's how that shit works.
Yeah.
And that's why this thing is such a fucking mess. It seems like that concept is just like getting left behind, or people are just like disregarding the idea, or just willfully saying fuck it. Like I said, like Florida and like Texas are apparently, and now I heard like Iowa, I think, are just like full open, come and get it. And you're like, man, okay. I mean, at least you're being wide open.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I look at it this way, like, how are you going to rationalize when somebody's Uncle Johnny or Aunt Jane dies and they didn't need to die if you weren't fully open?
They haven't up till now, so who gives a shit? I mean,
but I mean, I don't know, man. I guess that's that bleeding heart part of me that comes out is like, my mom was able to get her shot, right? She hasn't gotten her second one, but she's gotten her first one. Mm-hmm. When she gets her second one, I will I don't know, they say it's 95% effective, whatever. I don't know. I'll feel a sigh of relief that like she's more protected because if the state of Oregon, where my mom lives, all of a sudden decided to open up and somebody came into contact with her who was reckless and got her sick and she was in the hospital, I'd want to kill him.
No, I get it.
I'd want to march down and say, hey, why the heck are you opening up when you know that there's vulnerable people in their 80s that could get this and get really sick or die, So there's people in Florida, there's people in Texas, there's people in Iowa that are going to die. And I don't mean to be like fatalistic, but Florida made a decision that's going to kill people because their immune system is not strong enough to fight it off. People are going to die because they want to make money. And I guess people have died throughout history because people have wanted to make money, right? I mean, we were talking about...
Yes, but I mean, this is, this is disease. This is something that we're all supposed to be in the agreement on of like disease is bad.
Yes.
We don't want disease. And, we've just shown that you see some of the stuff from like everything was always like, I remember like when this was first kicking off, everything was being compared to the Spanish flu from 1918. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure we've gone past that mark.
I think we have, yeah.
Or if we haven't, we're well on our way to. And just some of the stories that, people being cavalier back then, people being cavalier now.
Right.
People, fighting, wearing a mask then, people wearing masks back then. Same thing now. And it's just tough. I mean, there wasn't, I don't know if there. I think maybe back then there's a wee more united effort than what we've had so far, and now there's like a willful contingent of the country that has been so emboldened and energized to just. I mean, they've been energized to embrace their ignorance all along.
Correct. That wearing a mask was a show of weakness.
And you knew damn well that it was going to be like that. Like when this first kicked off, like as soon as it was clear that they were going to play this a really dumb way instead of capitalizing on it and going, oh, because like the tinfoil conspiracy hat person in me was like, oh man, create a huge pandemic and then come in like, the white knight and save everybody and assure yourself victory in the election.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that seems like
the blueprint was there, man. It was the blueprint
like
was there.
Easy writing. But instead, we got what we got. And it was just amazing because there just seems to be moments of opportunity to really have changed this country fundamentally.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, in 2008, when the market crashed, I still believe that there was opportunity that was squandered to create a program to get the country back up and rolling.
Yep.
And yes, I'm sure there are many reasons for that, but I believe that the pandemic was another opportunity to get the country unified.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that opportunity still exists?
Oh, man. I mean, it's so, oh my God, it's not even the same thing now. I mean, you're talking about here's an easy opportunity that, oh my God, pandemic hit. We can all get together, love one another. We're all going to get through this together. We're all going to just do the right thing. We're going to do what we're told. There's going to be a unified message. And oh my God, I mean, people are going to be seeing fucking kumbaya and kill COVID. And fuck yeah, it's going to be just amazing. And I was like, God damn it. And we're going to get like 4 more years of this asshole. Guaranteed. Because, I mean, even a fucking dumbass could walk this fucking to the fucking mailbox. And,
however,
but no. And it was just a catastrophe ever since, which leads to my previous ideas that he was not there to do our country any good, that he was only there to cause chaos at every given turn, that he was only there to create problems, and every action he took was to create more chaos and more problems. It was never to create anything better for the country. So again, when looked at from that perspective, it all makes 1,000% sense.
Yeah.
It lines up 100%. If you were saying, hey, light the country on fire and burn the fucker down, job done. Because,
right.
And again, and now everybody's looking at Biden like, why haven't you fixed it yet?
Yeah.
And I joke about that.
Right.
But moron, asshole, idiots that watch faux news entertainment corporation company believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you think you're going to reach those morons, God bless you.
I don't, like you say, give them money. I don't even think giving them money is going to work. I don't know.
Give them money is in quotes. By give them money, and I thought about that because I thought, that sounds too. It doesn't sound like it's really going to work. But by give them money, let me further explain, because I really think that I do have something here, and it is beyond just give people money. I like money. You like money. Can I have some money?
Can I have some money?
That's always going to get people's attention, yes. But by give them money, what I mean, folks, is elevate everybody in this country. By elevating everybody, what I mean, everybody gets to go to college. Everybody gets health care. Those 2 things alone. Do those 2 things. 2 fucking things. And you would win over everybody but a core group of people that you're never going to win over anyway. It doesn't, no matter what, you're never going to get everybody on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
Be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Know that some people, fuck them.
Right.
It's okay. For everybody else, you can gather a lot of folks that are out there to be gathered. That's my point. Is that these folks are out there to be had.
Now, clarify this for me, though. I know what you mean. I know what you mean because we've talked about this. When you say everybody gets to go to college, you also mean trade school.
Okay, for sure. Let me outline the plan.
Because somebody watching this is going to go, but I know.
No, I dig it, and I want to outline that because fuck it, I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. But here's my plan. If I was in charge, every single American. And by the way, if you're here, I'm gonna look right in the little camera. If you're here, you're American. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit. We're better when there's more of us.
Right.
We just
unless you're trying to keep that pie really small and only have a few people get a bites of it.
I know. What I'm saying is this. Now, I'm not concerning myself with fuck that. What I'm saying is that we are better as a country when there are more of us. The more the merrier. Come on in. Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was taught America was.
Right.
I don't know about you when you were a kid.
Right.
Pie-eyed bullshit.
Yeah.
But I got taught that America was a welcoming place.
Mm-hmm. The melting pot, right?
Yeah. You know, the after-school special.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome. Come on in. When you're here, guess what? You get to go to school through high school and 2 years of college or a trade school. If you want to go further, that's on you. Congratulations. Yep. You can take that obligation at a reasonable debt. And that can be outlined on further bullet points. But a reasonable debt. I understand that people get sunk and that the student loan crisis is out of hand. But here's maybe a less popular opinion. Forgiving student loan debt. I am not necessarily on board with that. And this might make your brain come out your ears, or you might go, oh, I actually see your consistency of thought, sir. Because in fact, you're saying if you take on a debt of your own and you willfully sign as a fucking adult,
you pay your debt.
You pay your fucking debt. However, going forward, if the new rules are everybody gets to go to college for free, fucking good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. Now, if you want to come with a grievance of, I signed on for exorbitant amounts of debt as an adult, and looking back on that, I kind of regret it. Well, okay. Similarly, if you bought, say, a Lamborghini and you couldn't afford that shit.
Right.
And you go, looking back on that Lamborghini purchase, I can't quite afford it. Here's the difference. When you default on the Lamborghini,
they take it.
You say, here are the keys to the Lamborghini. When you default on your student loan and you apply for a job, do you still get to write, I have a bachelor's or master's degree or PhD in fucking ancient art?
You sure do.
You sure do.
Sure do.
That's kind of fucked up to me.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a few bumps in the road to get smoothed out, admittedly, and I'm all for smoothing them out. And like I say, I know that's not exactly the hottest of takes that student loan.
But the thing is, you were
that burns my ass because
but you're consistent.
I just want to finish. I just want to finish by saying why that burns my ass. And yes, maybe this is a get mine, fuck you. But here's the thing. when I was a lad and I was in college, there was a point where I had to decide, can I afford to keep going to college?
Mm-hmm.
That answer was no. And I had to choose, can I keep going to college and working full time, or does something have to give? Turned out something had to give.
Mm-hmm.
And that was college. And that was unfortunate, and that sucks. But I don't get to retroactively go back and get a degree suddenly, do I? No, I do not. So here's the thing. If you get to retroactively default on your student loan and still keep your diploma, motherfuckers,
mm-hmm.
then I get to have a retroactive diploma and all the sweetness that comes with that. I want 20 fucking years of extra pay because now I have a retroactive diploma. That sounds about as legit as me forgiving your fucking student loan and you keeping your fucking diploma. Sorry for my F-bombs. It kind of fucking burns me up.
You feel better?
Yeah, I do. And I feel so good. I want to share something now.
Yes, share.
I'm going to share it now. Oh, here we go. So,
is this what your wife sent you?
This is some crap my wife sent me.
Let's see it.
Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Well, let me set this up. I hope we're both on the screen, but we may not be. If it's just me, hi everybody. What we have here is a true master of the martial arts.
He looks like it.
The backyard martial arts, you might say. And you can note this expert of weaponry. He still has the barcode on his machete.
I was going to say the sticker is.
That was the first thing that jumped out at you, right?
Yeah,
the barcode on a fucking machete.
The barcode is, the sticker's still on it.
I have not seen this part.
Okay.
And let's break this down for a moment. What do we got?
So we got a bottle of seltzer and it's sitting on some type of box. And the look on this guy's face is telling me, my guess.
That seltzer did him wrong.
My guess is he's going to try to cut the top of the bottle off and not have it spilled. That's just my guess.
Okay. So you're thinking this is like a specific demonstration of weapon technique?
You know how you've seen those challenges where people like kick a bottle and the top twists off? That's what I think he's going to attempt to do here.
Okay, so you're going, personally, I'm just going with,
You think he's gonna go Fruit Ninja and chop it in half?
Well, first of all, I gotta start with his great beard.
Yeah, that's a good beard.
It's not a good beard. I am also one of pale complexion and rosy cheeks. I'm guessing my man, is that, and I'm guessing, here's the thing. I bet it's cold where he is.
Yeah.
But he's a hefty fellow.
Yeah.
Like myself.
He's sweating. Yeah, he's sweating.
He's okay outside in the cold.
Yeah.
In a t-shirt. He's fine. He prefers it this way. In fact, he's comfortable because inside he's going to sweat. Right. You know what I'm saying? So my man is out here and he's got a very determined look on his face.
Oh, he's focused. Look at his eyes. Like, look
at the eyes. You got the target. Eyes target. Here we go. Let's see this master in action.
All right, here we go.
Oh, there's the cap.
Oh.
He's got a double-handed and like a.
What does his shirt say?
Oh,
he's got on a whole.
He's going like prison shank,
Wow, look at that.
Hold on a second.
He is going prison shank.
That was straight prison shank.
That water bottle did him wrong.
That
water bottle did him wrong.
By the way, do you notice? I can't point. I believe he's got a red belt on.
Yes, he's got something kind of going over his shoulder and something going around his waist.
Yeah, so he's clearly he's an upper level
Oh, absolutely.
Senior.
Yeah, he's advanced. And take a look at the box. Is that a target on the side of the box? Is this like his logo or something?
I don't think he's quite splurged for his own logo. I'm guessing that's just the box manufacturer.
And that poor water jug is hurting right now. That thing is not doing well. I don't think it's going to make it.
You know, it also is not doing well.
That Ford?
First of all, a few things. The Ford Taurus, 100%. That sucker's, I mean, come on. It's a Ford Taurus circa RoboCop. I mean,
right.
That baby's still on the road. That's amazing. I almost want to say this fellow might be local to my area based on the foliage in the trees. And the guy.
Yeah.
And the trailer park.
Yeah.
Clearly, that's a trailer park behind him.
That is clearly a trailer park behind him.
All these things adding up. I'm wondering if his neighbors maybe thought about calling the cops, or they're maybe like, "Oh, Sensei is at it again." Let's tune in for just another couple more.
All right, let's see what we got here.
He's bringing the big heat. Oh, shit. That was like
what is it?
My man had a sword there, by the way.
So is that yellow? What is that yellow thing? Is that part of the shirt?
No, that's a rope, I believe. I believe that's a rope going to the dagger. And then also note his fanny pack under his other arm.
Yes.
That could be his Pokemon Go satchel.
It could be. Is that a beer sticking out of there with the red label on it?
No.
What is that?
No, I'm not sure what that is. If you saw this guy, because to me that almost looks like some of the guys I've seen playing Pokemon Go, you know, that have like the extra battery pack.
Yeah, unfortunately, it could be.
So, I mean, if you saw this guy at the park playing Pokemon Go and he rocks the machete,
I would almost venture to say that's a little more Dungeons and Dragons than it is.
I feel you. I feel you. Okay.
Yeah.
That was about. This guy. He's
no, hold on. Look at the look on his face. Look at that. Look at determination.
No, he's all serious. I mean, you got a look of focus right here. A legitimate sword that I'm sure he's got at Spencer's.
Yeah.
And then the sheath over here in the other, because true samurai, as you know, it's one move, death,
absolutely,
and then you're back into the sheath. So
give me 10 more seconds. I want to see one more trick.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I
dig 10 more seconds.
Here comes a little more. Real sword action. Oh man, you can't fuck with that. I mean, come on. That sword has. I mean, that is pure player.
Pure play. Oh, different shirt. Oh, the no look.
No, the no look straight took the top of the milk jug.
Wow. Yeah.
You suppose this guy sits around sharpening that blade in anticipation of these videos. And he's like, man, I'm going to cut that milk jug.
So here's my question. And I don't mean any disrespect by this.
Nope.
But these are things that your wife sends you. What the hell is your wife looking at on YouTube? I got some questions, man.
I believe that might be the talks. But and your kids, I believe, are on that nonsense. So, I don't know what lane they travel in on the TikTok. And I don't know how much you even monitor that. For all they know, Samurai Man might be on your kid's feed right now.
Well, so my kid's TikTok is logged into my account.
Oh, good. So you monitor it all.
Yeah. So they don't have their own TikTok account. Theoretically, I have 2 TikTok accounts, and they each log into one of them. So I have it like.
So do you check in on what she?
I do. Yeah, I do.
And do you ever go, hey, time out?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. As a matter of fact, I was talking to the little one today, and I'm like, "That's not a good video to watch."
What was out of bounds? What was it?
It was like these teenagers, and they were like narrating stories.
Okay.
But it wasn't like explicit, but it was like 16, 17-year-old girls like narrating a story about like these boys, and I'm like, nah, we'll cross this bridge in a few years when we get there. We don't need to,
And this
you know.
is your younger one?
Yeah, it was a younger one. And it wasn't anything bad, but it was just like, oh my God, and then he asked me out. And then he came and he picked me up and he tried to kiss me. And I'm like, nope. It wasn't anything terribly bad, but it's nothing that an 8-year-old needs to be listening to.
No, I dig it. And that's understandable. And good job monitoring. So anyway, that was some crap my wife sent me. Samurais.
These are getting more interesting week over week. I'm interested to see what she's going to send you next week.
As am I. My only thought with that fellow. I mean, remember when you used to go in the mall? I don't know, maybe you still go to the mall. Are malls even open? I don't know. They probably are in Florida. But nevertheless, when you used to go to the mall and you used to go to Spencer's and you'd flip through all the posters of all the hot chicks and rock bands, but then there would always, and you'd wander through the mall and there'd be like the nail shop and there'd be like clothing store. Then there'd be like the knife store.
Yep.
Right? Every mall had
a knife store.
And in that knife store, what did you see? But just, I mean,
the shining samurai sword.
Those were the big, that was the big money. That was the money shot. That was like, oh shit, we're in Disney. But like in the display cases, there was like all manner of pocket knife. There was survival knife. There was, oh my God, that's Rambo's knife.
Mm-hmm.
There was everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you say, you would look behind the counter and suddenly there would be perhaps dragons or other foreign-looking things that look exotic and neat. And then, why, by God, that's holding a sword.
Yes.
And you go, snap, I could buy a sword.
I fell victim to that as a teen. I bought some Chinese throwing stars.
Nice. Did you get really good at throwing them?
Yes. I put a lot of holes in sheetrock that my parents weren't happy about.
Down in the basement?
Down in the basement, yeah.
Ninja
yeah.
It's good. I had a friend that would make those out of like needles and tape, racers and crap, all manner of darts, and I wasn't quite as good at it, but it gave me ideas, and so then I, of course, started trying to do it too. And a little bit of electrical tape, a needle, an eraser
goes a long ways.
You got a dart. You could take a pin and take it apart, and then make like a little thing with the spring, and you could shoot the little thing out like a.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we better wind this down.
Yep. Rounding third, heading home. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Thank you all for all that you do. And let's just keep it going. That's all we can do is just keep the good vibe train rolling down the tracks, heading to Funky Town.
Heading to Funky Town. If you like what you see, like us, comment, subscribe. We need more comments. We really need more comments. We really appreciate people who watch the show. We can see when people watch. We can see when people subscribe. We know what episode you like. We really appreciate that. But comment.
We may not comment back, but it's nice.
Here's the deal. If somebody
are you going to do it?
If somebody makes a comment on this episode, I will talk about them the next show. If they don't want me to say their name,
that's what I'm saying. Like, will you? Because so far, like with the comments, I love comments. I've read them, the few that we've had. I think they're great. Thank you so much for anybody that's taken the time to comment. I love it. However, I have not interacted. I don't know when I ever will. This is my interaction, people.
I'll be the interactive guy. I'll jump in to comment on the comments.
If you want to throw out like get to comment with Jamal. I mean, if that is not enticing,
I know.
Then I don't know. I'll put up a picture of this lady. or maybe a picture of Jamal. Hey, you put up the one from a long time ago, though. That's fun.
Yes.
So, that's good.
All right. I said we're going to wind down, but hold on.
What do you got?
Speaking of a long time ago.
Oh, my. Somebody's ass in somebody's face, is it? Oh, shit. Kid and Play. That hairstyle is back now, isn't it?
That is junior year of high school right there, my friend. Yes. I had the
5'7". I know.
I had the blonde hair.
Look at put young you back up there. Look at that, everybody.
That was back in the day.
Only 35 short years.
I know, right? Yep, that was back in the day. That was 1990 as 1990.
Young buck.
19. What is this? 2021? Yeah, that was quite a bit of time ago.
You know, this is the era when we thought the old flying cars and whatnot.
Yep. Yeah. So comment. I will personally respond to your comment.
Oh, for real.
And I will talk to you on the show next time while drinking a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
It'll probably be the same one.
No, look, it's empty.
It's ass warm. Did you really kill that whole nasty shit?
I killed it.
And you have a bottle of Patron.
Yeah.
Christ in heaven. And I ain't even religious. Help me here. I mean, honestly, what on earth? And it's not just because I'm a tequila guy. I didn't even make this connection earlier, probably because I was drinking. You've got a bottle of Patron.
Silver.
The only one to have. By the way, silver is the only way to go. Blanco, white, whatever they call it. You don't, personally, no añejo, no reposado.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ruin it by putting it in a barrel. Just put it in the bottle like you got it there. And you've got that magical elixir in a bottle, good Christ in heaven. And you're drinking that swill. Can you at least like give the good booze to your kids or something? Or your dog? Somebody that would appreciate it? Oh, that hurts. That hurts most of all. If you didn't have the Patron there and like you're like, hey, I never drink, but I've got this bottle or this can of piss warm freaking Pabst and I'm trying to make a point. Fine, make your point. But god dang. I mean, that's not even insulting. What, you're Catholic. What do they call it in Catholic when you do something beyond insulting? When you do something, is that sacrilegious? It's not even sacrilegious because then that gets Jesus involved. But maybe you've offended Jesus here. I bet your mom right now would go, I understand. Because you've got something, because think about this. I know we're way over time. I killed my own mic. I know we're way over time. I don't care. I'm making a point here, damn it.
I'm reaching out to people at Pabst.
No,
people at Pabst, talk to me.
No, don't even do it.
Yes, Pabst, talk to me.
This is something that took a minute through the whole podcast to actually like connect the dot. And it was something that was in the back of my mind earlier. And it was like, it was something I was like, no, fuck it. Let's just keep going. And now I realize what it was. I mean, that's like having something as wonderful as your wife there. And then you rock a fleshlight.
Oh, that's a stretch, isn't it?
The fleshlight might get, for you it might be, for me it probably fits right, but you know.
You are devaluing the nectar from heaven.
Man, see,
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I just, see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you got to understand here about my partner. I've had to listen. I've been familiar with this bullshit for like 30 years. It doesn't get any easier to take. I'm just saying I'm familiar with it. And so those of you that are not familiar with it, You got to understand, my man is, before the internet, they didn't even know what to call folks like Jamal. Now they say, oh, you're a troll. And that doesn't even do justice to what Jamal can do. That's what I'm saying. So God bless you. Can you at least drop your mic? You know you got to do your send off. Come on.
All right. Thank you for watching the show. We appreciate each and every one of you. Somebody at Pabst Blue Ribbon Company, reach out to me.
Nah, fuck them, honestly.
Twitter, at Jamal Harvey, at Blame Jamal. And I got one thing to say to everybody out there. There's only one way
get to Mexico
to stop a fire.
Oh, here it is.
Let's pause my mixtape.
There it is. So what have we learned tonight, everybody? I almost want to start a poll of how many people really think that Jamal likes that beer. Because I know. But do you know? The answer is no. He hates that shit. And he'll stomach it and choke through it just to prove a point. And you got to admire that dedication. I do. I always have. And that's why this is so good. So anyway, we appreciate you. Thank you for appreciating us. Tune in next time. Drink good liquor. Come on, people. Good night.